Welcome to our morning show today from WRCO Radio. Joining us, friends from Riverdale Schools. Jeff Campbell is here, and we'll introduce you to some other members of the staff today as well. Kelly Schaefer is here, Ella Fiersthaler, and Brittany Penfield, along with Margaret Emerson, are here. We'll introduce you to first-year teachers at Riverdale as well. Jeff, boy, here we go. It's almost Thanksgiving. How can that be?
It sure is. I tell you, it's picking up around the school. I said the holiday spirit starting to pick up with the little kids, and yeah, we got a number of things coming up for that this week and into the future. So I think the families are feeling that too. So it's been high energy, I will say, over the last couple weeks, but it's good energy.
Isn't it true when you get to homecoming and then after that, you really have to hit the books, don't you? Because it seems like a lot of learning goes on in that time.
A lot of learning goes down through that stretch, and now you kind of have those little breaks in there with the holiday breaks that we have, and then we come back with a larger stretch for a couple months where, a lot of our testing is done, state testing is done, so it's split into parts, and then you come back for the home stretch after that spring break. So it's split into good chunks, and you got things to kind of regroup, and kids can regroup at certain times and have a fresh start if they need it. It's nice to have that little break.
And from fall sports, we convert to winter sports. They're all in action now, aren't they?
We do, yeah. We girls basketball got a nice win last night to start their season. They're in action 3 more times before Thanksgiving break already. So it's nice to see that. Good numbers. They'll have a JV and a varsity team this year that will compete up to the max amount of times, 20-some times this year. So it's nice to see. I think the second year for Larry in the program, and the girls put a lot of time in the off season. That was one big emphasis. So it's nice to see. Our boys basketball, 2 practices in. Coach Kenyon's back again. He's been there a couple years with the same staff that he's had the last couple years. So their numbers too, looking at JV and varsity there, should be a nice solid group of kids. With I think 1 senior on the team, and most of these kids have played multiple years on the varsity, so should be a nice year. Should see a few more wins there. Wrestling has they've got 3 state finalists back, which is always a big deal, to have that many kids that have been at the top of things, 1 state champion. Their numbers are down a little bit, maybe around the 15 range that way, but they what they don't, lack in the number of people, they definitely, the quality is there. So they should have a wonderful season. And then our powerlifting team, coached by Jeff Johnson, is off and running, and they've got their first meet coming up in December. So it should be plenty to do for our kids in the wintertime. It's a long time inside, and it's nice that we give all those opportunities along with our clubs for kids to participate.
You hosted a volleyball sectional as well. Yeah. How did that go?
It went really well. There's a little confusion. We had always been hosting the D4 one, and the week of, we got asked to host the D5 one. So there was a lot of change that week, but it went exceptionally well, and that's Kurt's got his group of people, along with our head volleyball coach, Jesse Kinney. The line judges were 2 people that work within our school district, Chelsea Clark and Leah Babel. So it was like we really contributed to a great atmosphere that night. Really well ran. We got a lot of compliments from it from a team from Wausau. And then also, I think Highland liked the change because it was a 5-10 minute drive for them. So it was nice. Fans were great volleyball. Really just appreciated the compliments and things we got from their fans, and the way everybody handled themselves in a big atmosphere was incredible. But can't say enough about Kurt. I think when he hosts these things, it's just top of the line. And we've got 2 other sectionals. We got sectional baseball and sectional softball coming up yet this year. So we're active and hoping to get more of those events, and our facilities, the way they keep them up, allows us to do that.
Well, it's a great thing for the community, because the community benefits when you have a lot of people coming in from the outside.
Yeah, definitely. I think most of the town of Highland was there, and a lot of them were eating down in our restaurants before, and that's a big deal. And Wausau fans came down early, and you saw them kind of mingling around too at our eating establishments. So that's always helps. It brings a lot to the community and just a lot to our school district then, so different people can see our facilities in action.
We wanted to talk a little bit about the budget. Did you have your annual meeting this year?
We did, yeah. We had it at the end of October. Went well. I felt like we're in a in a solid place. Thanks again to our community. I can't say that enough. I think with a lot of the indecisions and things going on right now with school finance, we were very fortunate to pass our April referendum, and it just goes out to the support that people had for us. I don't, we wouldn't have a lot of the things we have going on at Riverdale this year if it wasn't for that, because of all the indecisions that we have within our budget at the state government. So with that passage and the community support, we're able to continue on doing all these great things, and the things people hear and the people they hear monthly, really the people they hear monthly on this radio show from Riverdale is what makes us great. And we, budget's always a kind of a back and forth thing. We received the $325 per student increase. We'll continue to receive that every year, and that's a positive thing. That's a great thing to have. The special ed increase that we're going to receive, especially with the district, we're closing in on probably 25% spec ed, which is one of the highest in this area, but maybe closing in on even some of the highest in the state. And so, that will help. That's a positive help, that reimbursement percentage going up. Still not we're fighting for, but at least we saw an increase in that. And then high cost spec ed too. So thanks to the government and the state legislatures for doing those positive things, forward with education. Comes that too, though, with that is kind of the other side of the, coin too, is we didn't receive a state aid increase. And so because there was no state aid increase and you only have a per pupil increase, then that we got to ask more from our taxpayers, and that's a tough sell. I mean, people are struggling in a lot of areas. So when you look at the positives, you're happy with that, but you also have that other side that a lot more is going to go on our taxpayers this year, and been very open with that. And I think I'm always open to questions, as people receive their tax bills coming up, and look for some things in the progressive to kind of explain some things too. It'll be helpful for people to have a better understanding of why that is. So our levy's a little bit higher. That the tax portion of it will be a little bit higher this year. Our mill rate did go from $6.43 to $7.53, which was expected with the referendum increase. So that's not a jump that people did not expect to have happen. It's still a very low mill rate, still in the lowest range I think we've had in probably 10 to 12 years. So we're happy with that. It's still in that reasonable range for us. But we're closing the gap on open enrollment. We felt that was a big thing, that it's a goal of mine to really close that gap of people leaving your district. We want to keep them within, and we've done that. We've kind of, at this point, looking at, a gain of about 5 or 6 kids in that area, which is a big deal, because at the end of the day, that also happened in the budget. You get, you're getting more per student that's going out and more per student that's coming in. So it's like, we want to see that a little bit more revenue increase. And so we're cutting that down. I think a couple of years ago, we were in the minus, 40s in there. So we've slowly, John and Bryce have really chipped away at that. And I've tried to continue with that of getting more kids back into our district. The big hit we had this year was in our private school voucher number. And this is something that I'll probably be on, later shows that I'm going to be addressing. I'm going to be a little more proactive with is, alerting our community that school choice is important, and we're behind school choice. But this year we went from $97,000 going to our taxpayers having to fund for private school vouchers that we levy to $188,000, and so it almost doubled this year, which I need to make the community more aware, and I did as the referendum rounds went around. Like, that's a huge increase, and we really don't find that out until October 15th. And we're going to annual meeting a week and a half later. So it's very difficult to budget for. I've been in contact with DPI, with the deputy director at DPI, met with him about it, and just talked about how can we be more proactive so I can budget for this. So I'm not next year looking at, another double increase that way. And the other question, I've asked a lot of DPI, and it's, we don't get a whole lot of answers that way because there is confidentiality of who those students are. I really don't know where those students are going to school. So, I want to be transparent with our taxpayers and just let them know that, they have this choice, but I can't really even tell you where they're going to get where this money is. I can just tell you how many kids that is. So that's an area that you're going to hear a little bit more of. The other thing I'm going to be pushing for is to get it on our tax bill so that people know, okay, here's how much is going to private school vouchers. Here's how much is going to the Riverdale School District. district out of your tax base. I've kind of, the last couple years, really prided myself on being transparent, especially during the referendum process. And I want to try to be as transparent with this as I possibly can. And if we can get that on the tax bill next year, that's at least transparency that they know, okay, this amount's going to Riverdale, this amount's going out to students that live in Riverdale but go to other private schools. So we got a lot in our budget. I talked to both elementary last week. I try to make it, because it's kind of my life now, and I know when I said as a teacher, you're kind of like, oh yeah, you knew a little bit about it, but I try to make it as simple as possible. But met with the elementary last week. I meet with the junior high school staff tonight to go through that whole process and just to kind of keep them up to date of where we are. But we're in good shape, and we're setting in good shape. And we'll continue to work on, the best ways to fund our schools with what we have.
How was Riverdale's report card in terms of, their learning in the classrooms? I know that recently came out as well.
It did, and Kelly will get a little more detailed into the report cards and that. But we were very happy with where we were. We were meets school again, all schools across the board. We were meets expectations as a district too. And we've taken on the philosophy with our report card is we never really get too high or too low with it, because we know there's a number of factors that go into it. And when we looked at the report card breakdown, a lot of our scores are based off achievement. So a higher percentage of our scores is based off achievement, what students know. And what's happening is our third grade is coming in and they are scoring extremely well. So with that, since our score is actually worth more in growth than it is in achievement, the amount of percentage that we have, our kids aren't going to grow as quickly and as much, because when they're coming in third grade, they're really blowing things away. We're probably top 7 or 8 and in the 31 schools in CISA in achievement. So our kids know things they have coming in, and you might not see a bigger growth, but the way the report card sets up is that it's going to count growth more than it does achievement for us. When you compare that to other districts, the one thing we always tell our parents is really be understanding of what that is. Another district might be very small achievement and they might be big in growth. And when you really rank and you look at where they rank achievement wise, they might not be achieving very well. But because those kids don't achieve very well early on, but they grow more as it goes through, and growth is bigger for them than achievement is, their scores can indicate something a little bit different. So we take that approach. We really dive into those report cards and see if we're like areas where we might see something from year to year or cohort from year to year jump up, jump down, and we're like, okay, what happened here? But we're always in that. We're very pleased with what our staff and are doing. Unfortunately, report cards have to be there. That's probably a 5-minute little thing that, I gave, but we could sit here and probably talk for a whole hour about what it entails in those scores. But in the end, it's, how we're held accountable statewide overall. But we also have a report card that Kelly will talk about that really spans our entire district and seeing what kids achieve, not necessarily on a standardized test, but what they achieve in the community and what they're doing when they kind of leave Riverdale or are prepared to leave Riverdale.
Well, Kelly Schaefer, good morning.
Good morning.
Good to have you in here.
Yeah, you too.
Could you go a little bit deeper into the report cards that Jeff was talking about?
So yes, Riverdale did meet expectations on the overall score. That is probably what people hear reported out in the news, and if they're looking at graphics on the school website or something like that, they're going to be able to look at those. How many stars did the school get? And what he's referring to there is when we are given a report card, there's a pie chart that's in there, and every school has 4 categories unless they're super small, and then they don't have one of them that I'll talk about. So there's an achievement portion of the pie chart, there is a growth portion, there's a on track to graduation portion, and then there's a portion called the target group. If you're small enough, you don't have a target group. So we do have some schools in our area that don't have a target group. That target group is taking kids and saying, okay, based on their last scores in the last few years, who in each grade level should we be looking at to really focus our efforts on, who scored in the bottom 25% in your district. So the philosophy there is if you help the bottom 25% of your district, you'll help everyone grow. And they're actually weighted they have a little separate category. So 25% of your report card is based on your target growth. So those kids are actually kind of weighted twice, their achievement, their growth, everything. In our district then, we have a pretty small percentage. I think our percentage was 13.3, if I remember right, for the district of achievement. And then that other half of that pie chart is growth. And so that's based on, for everybody in the state, that's based on basically your free and reduced lunch population, with the thought that it's more difficult to have students grow or have students achieve high who are coming from populations where they don't have as many resources. So, but I feel like Riverdale really prides themselves on, like, what can we do? We know that we have a high free and reduced lunch population. What can we do to add supports for our families across the district as soon as they come in? I mean, we've been doing 4K all day for a long time. We have wraparound care, like before and after school. We have lots of things in the community. Our Head Start is located right in our school district. We're around the corner from Brittany, who you'll hear from later. And we do put a lot of resources into our pre-K through second grade before they ever take a state test. So when Jeff's referring to that growth piece, yes, our kids come in, they're scoring above the state average on their state test consistently across the board in the early grades. And so it is hard to achieve that growth piece. So I guess I really like data. I have a huge spreadsheet that I share with the district that we look at, and we talk about, like, where are we ranking here? Here's all of the schools around us. Here's where the state is. How are we doing? Where do we see strengths? Where do we see gaps? We do look at that for trends or successes and gaps. But I think when we get down to it, our students are actually learning. They're pretty consistently scoring above the state average on achievement scores. And that's probably the thing that we look at the most, because that's really what's telling us, are our kids learning what they need to be learning to be on track for college and career success. So with that in mind, we actually won the DPI has a Beating the Odds award. And although I feel like, I'm pretty competitive, I'd love to see significantly exceeds every year. I think that the formula for us is really tough to get to that point because of how we're scoring when we come in third grade. Now, I tell the staff when we meet, obviously we're not going to change that and have our kids do worse. We're doing a great job. Let's keep it up, right? But we have the Beats the Odd award at both the elementary and the junior high levels for that reason. So they're saying, hey, wow, like you have a high population of students who are economically disadvantaged, and you're still achieving these good scores for their achievement. So we're pretty proud of that. We've a couple banners hanging up in the schools to recognize that. In addition to that, the report card, the part that many people probably don't see unless they're really digging into it, is on the back side of the report card, they will have some different categories that you can look at to see, like, how your school is comparing to other schools across the state or the state average. And we are above average in students who are enrolled in at least one dual enrollment class, at least one industry recognized credential, work-based learning experience, art and design course completion, and music course completion. So I feel like that really is what, like, we're trying to get to in the end, is not just the stars, but like, where are we leading our kids and how many opportunities are we giving them? And if we're above the state average there, I think that does show that we are providing a vast variety. So you can have the top level AP dual credit courses that we're providing, where kids are getting maybe up to, what is it we're up to now? I think a student can earn 8 credits of college math before they leave Riverdale. So, or possibly more. It might be up to 11 by now. I think it might be up to 11. So we had another course in there. So that's pretty awesome. And then we've got work-based experience in there. We have students who are actually completing, like, courses at Southwest Tech where they're graduating from Riverdale and Southwest Tech with a degree at the same time. So we've had a couple students now who have done that with welding. So that's pretty awesome. So, and they're doing that right through our district. Our graduation rate continues to exceed the state average. We earn the highest points that you can in that area. And I think really the bottom line is that we're offering our students a solid foundation of skills. So when they get to that third grade test, they're ready. They're doing well. And then we offer so many different opportunities for them to build on that and really get to where they want to go in life, whether it's through fine arts or other clubs and organizations or dual credit or the CTE route. There's plenty of opportunities for our kids. So Jeff talked about the other report card that we have. We've been doing this for a while now. We call it a scorecard. And what we're using are the metrics for career and college readiness, and there are a lot of them. But when you put them all together, it's things like those dual credit, it's GPA, it's classwork that you're taking, but it's also like, are you involved in your community? Community service hours is part of it. Are you involved in clubs? Because we know that those things make for a well-rounded individual, a community member that we're trying to graduate to the public, right? So on our scorecard that we had last year, we had a 98% of our students who graduated were either college or career ready or both. So I feel like that's what we're aiming for. Of course, we want that perfect 100%, but 98% really means like maybe one student didn't quite get there yet. But so anyhow, the bottom line is that our district vision is leading the way in opportunities for college, career, and life-ready citizens. And I think really that's what we're trying to get at. So the report card is one thing we look at, but definitely not the only thing.
Right. It's a whole building block process for the finished product, which is fine individuals, right?
100%, yes.
Yeah. Contributing to the workforce and community and everything else. So,
yes.
Yeah, that's awesome. I didn't ask you, how many years have you been in education?
This is my 30th year.
30th year.
Yes.
Right. See, it's not proper for me to ask someone their age.
How old I am?
But I can ask how many years you've been in education, Kelly.
People are doing the math at home.
I'm sorry. and what is your position now at Riverdale?
So I wear a lot of hats, but obviously I talked at length there about the report card. So one of my duties is that I'm the district assessment coordinator. So that's why I have this knowledge of the report card, because I kind of analyze that for the district and bring things out to our administration team and the other coaches and teachers in the buildings. So, but I also took on something new this summer. So we decided that we wanted to go in a different direction with our social media. We had been working through a company, but we wanted it more to be in-house because we just wanted to get our story out there. And I think that's hard to do when you're working with somebody who's outside of the district. So we still have support from a company, but I'm the main go-to person for social media now. So, and I started the year with just some goals in mind. That our number one goal is that we want to get Riverdale's story out there. So our mission is connect, empower, grow. And I feel like social media is a great place, if you use it correctly, to connect with your greater Riverdale community. So we focus on sharing like what it's like in the classrooms. What are our students up to? It's really very student based. If you hop onto Facebook, you'll see right now for American Education Week, we're running little videos of the kids saying what they like about Riverdale. They're pretty sweet, so check those out if you haven't. And anyhow, there are many family members. Our population, when I look at who's looking at our social media, is generally the community members, but also people who do not have any students in school anymore. They just want to stay connected to Riverdale schools. There are people from across the country really looking at that. So I think it's a great way to bring them into what's going on in the school day around us, because there are so many great things happening daily. We have communication going on there too, obviously, important announcements and upcoming events. And then another goal that I had is like bringing our community into the Facebook posts more. So we really try to like incorporate like who's been in for guest speakers. Calico does an amazing job. She has guest speakers from the community all the time. So we make sure to feature them on there, just thanking people for donations that they've given. We've had lots of support from our community that way. So getting them in there is good too. We do have an Instagram account also, so you can follow us on both Facebook and Instagram. We'd love to have more followers.
Is there a learning curve for all of that stuff for you?
Oh, yeah, a little bit, yes. Canva is my best friend, so I do a lot of work with that. Meta sometimes gets a little glitchy, but
Right.
but I work through it and we get it done. So.
But it certainly is an important tool this day and age to communicate with the populace of the Riverdale District, though.
Yeah,
right?
I think the kids think I'm the paparazzi now too. So
So you take a lot of photos.
Yes,
and-
I do, and we have a little microphone that I take around. The little kids think I'm a YouTuber, so I'm a star.
Do you have your podcast yet or not?
We don't have a podcast,
No?
but we've got the little podcast microphone that the kids think is pretty awesome when I show up anywhere, the playground, the cafeteria. They are like, me. So,
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
That's a great way to communicate and kind of let people know what's going on in the district. So.
yeah, so you heard the data, dig into the data, and that's the kind of dry part of the job, but I do enjoy it. And then,
Right.
But I also get the social part by working with the teachers and the kids with the social media part. So
Lots of fun. We have to take a break. We'll come back and we'll introduce you to some newbies at Riverdale this year. And in just a moment, we'll introduce you to them, Ella, Brittany, and Margaret. We'll have more from the Riverdale District during our monthly morning show in just a moment. Welcome back to our morning show studios on WRCO. It's our monthly spotlight on the Riverdale District. And we have a chance to introduce you to some new teachers in the studio with us today. We begin with Ella Firsthaler. And we say good morning, Ella.
Good morning.
And you are in charge of elementary music, is that
I
correct?
am, yes.
Awesome. Can you tell us where you're from originally?
So I've been kind of all over the place, so it's a bit chaotic. But I grew up in West Bend, Wisconsin. So I graduated from West Bend East. And then when I decided to go to college, I went to Northern Illinois University, located in DeKalb, Illinois. And I got my Bachelor's of Music and Instrumental Music Education, as long as a certificate in Asian American Studies.
Wonderful. What attracted you to the Riverdale District?
It had pretty much everything I wanted. Just a great community, their love for the arts, and overall, it just seemed like a perfect fit for me.
Did you know how to say Muscadet before?
No, and
Okay.
my landlord made fun of me for it. When I called, I was like, "Oh, I would like to live in whatever I said," and he's like, "The kids are really gonna rat you out if you don't know how to say the name of the town." And I was like, okay."
So tell us about your typical day at Riverdale.
So I teach 4K through 5th grade general music. So that's just your basic, like learning notes and all that type of stuff. And then I also am the director of 6th grade band and choir.
Okay. What instrument is your instrument of choice?
So violin is my primary. That's what I grew up playing since I was 10. And then obviously I studied that in college as well.
Wow. Do they ask you to sit in the violin with any of the upper grades or anything like that?
Not in the upper grades, but I do play along with the UW Platteville Symphony on Monday nights. So that's my alternative school activity.
Good for you. That is awesome. So let's talk about some things that are going on here for the music programs for the students. Do you have some programs coming up then?
Yeah, so on December 10th, we have our annual winter concert. So 4K through 5th grade has been preparing really, really hard. They're each going to perform one song for the audience members, and they're all winter themed. So that's been really exciting to prepare for as a first-year teacher.
Tell us what the 4K's students are going to be singing.
Yeah, so they are going to be singing a song called Snowflakes Are Falling. It's really cute. It's really short, all that good stuff. This is the first year 4K has actually had music at Riverdale, so it's been a real treat to have them become musical and learn some of those basic foundational skills that they can carry on throughout their musical journey at Riverdale.
Sure. Why do you think that is important?
I believe that everyone is musical in their own way, and the younger you start them out, the better. There's been a bunch of studies shown that, music and the fine arts and all that stuff contributes to literacy skills, social skills, all of those important college and career skills that Kelly was talking about earlier that really impacts our students to become more well-rounded individuals.
One of the life skills that I obtained is the ability to read music. I think sometimes that's underrated, but I think that's a great skill to have. isn't it?
Absolutely. It has the English aspect to it and all of that good stuff that really helps with literacy scores and above.
Do you have some goals for the music programs for the future?
I really want to see an expansion of interest, especially within the bands and choirs, since sixth grade is that required grade for them to choose band or choir, as we have taken out the general music aspect out of that. So giving them an opportunity to realize, oh, I don't have to just sing all the time. I can play in band, or I really like singing, so I'm going to continue with all of that aspects. And then obviously there is that career aspect to it, like as I chose, it's not just something that can be fun and all games and whatnot, but you can really expand and continue past high school.
Was there a teacher, an educator in your past that made you want to get into education?
Yeah, so my high school orchestra director, Seth Matushak, he really pushed me into the education route and just showed me how much I loved orchestra and how I really wanted to help out students and really grow. But my cooperating teacher in college really showed me how much I loved elementary music, really sparking the growth of all those little ones and showing them that music is important and music is cool, and it's not just about science and math and reading and all that type of stuff.
Way back when I went to school, our teacher had a piano in the corner, and and we had all subjects in there. But if we ever got rowdy, all she'd go back and hit the piano keys and start playing. We'd sing along. So, is that kind of a way to kind of calm them down, just to start?
Yeah. I also have a few other activity songs. One that the kids are really loving is called the Stand Up Sit Down song. So I play some ukulele and we sit and we go, stand up if you like, blah blah blah, and then they stand up, and then there's a part where it's like, sit down, stand up, sit down, stand up, and then it really gets their wiggles out, and it's fun and musical, and they're exposed to all that good stuff.
What's the difference between a ukulele and a mandolin, or you see?
Mandolin's a little larger. The strings are different. So the strings on a mandolin are typically metal. Oh. And a ukulele, they're a nylon.
Okay, because we see a mandolin typically in country music a lot of times. Yep. And so, but the ukulele. So will we see you breaking that out at the concert coming up on the 10th?
I'm debating. I haven't fully decided. We do have a ritual of a hello song. So I'm debating starting the concert with our cute little hello song, but haven't fully decided. But I think the kids would enjoy if we did.
That'll be perfect. So we'll look forward to that. Again, what time is the concert then?
It is December 10th at 1:30 p.m. in the Riverdale gym.
During the school day?
Yes.
Okay. Well, good. So nice to meet you.
Thank
Welcome.
you.
You bet. We'll have you back again and bring the ukulele the next time you check in. Next up is Brittany Penfield. Good morning, Brittany.
Good morning.
4K teacher.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
that's the name, and it's my game. Yeah. Yeah.
You've taught other levels before, correct?
Only 4K. Yep. It's my
4K?
13th year teaching overall, my first year at Riverdale, but I've taught 4K the whole time.
Why 4K?
I just love getting them right off the bat, blank slate. I mean, they're sponges. They soak up everything, and you get the whole gamut of just ability-wise, and just getting them right out the gate and introducing those school routines and just that wide-eyed, starry-eyed kind of thing, like, this is school, I'm big enough to go now, and just that excitement of starting that whole career. It's pretty cool to see.
I can't imagine the energy, though, that they have if you could bottle that up, right?
Yeah, I could use it at the end of the day because mine's gone way down by then. But a lot of caffeine in the morning, But it's just fun, and honestly, it makes me feel like a kid again, being in that atmosphere and being with them, and it keeps me young, I feel, at heart. So I really enjoy it.
Well, you're still young, but
there's a few grays up there.
Where did you grow up?
I actually grew up in Richland Center, born and raised, and a graduate from there. Afterwards, I kept it local and went to UW Richland. And after my time there, I decided to branch out and go to Madison. So that's where I got my elementary degree. And then, like I said, I came back here because I loved it. My family's from here. I just really enjoy the smaller communities. We were kind of talking before, the choices of Madison. There's lots out there. I just like the quiet hominess of that, and just those tight-knit communities, and Riverdale certainly has that, so that was something I was looking for, just that close-knit community, and I'm just noticing a lot of support, and it's really awesome to see that and be a part of that.
I'm guessing you have some students that have graduated high school now that you had in 4K, right?
Not quite yet.
Not
Next
quite?
year. Next year.
Okay.
Yeah, class of 2027. Wow. Yeah.
Wow.
That'll be... Yeah, it's insane. It's cool though, and a lot of them I got to see grow up for a really long time, and I mean, they're driving now, and that's a little scary, but it's really neat to see all the cool things that they're doing nowadays, and kind of keep those close contacts from all those kids that I started with.
Could you talk a little bit about the structure of the 4K program at Riverdale?
Yeah, so as we kind of talked about before, it's an all-day, everyday program, so Monday through Friday, full days. And that's something that's a little bit more unique to our area. There's a lot of different structures that districts choose to do for 4K. Some do half days, some do 2 full days a week. But really that I think kind of sets Riverdale apart is that it's all day, every day. Obviously, we work in time for them to have some downtime and some rest time because they're still young and still kind of adjusting to that kind of schedule. But we make it fun, a lot of play-based learning. And like Ella said, they get to do specials this year for the first time. They get to do library, music, art, and Phi-Ed, which they get really excited about, but they love music. And lots of times we'll open up into song during playtime. I'm kind of playing with little groups, and the other day they started singing a song about a bluebird, and I'm like, I didn't teach you that one. How do you know that? Music. And so it's really cool that they get that experience from those experts because, I can sing songs and do that kind of thing with them, but just kind of get more of that technical standpoint, if you will, from someone who's in that field is pretty cool. And like Ella had mentioned, the concert that's coming up, they get to be a part of that as well. So when parents come that day, they'll get to see their children perform just like all the other kids. So that's new for them this year.
Is there much technology involved with 4Kers? Or?
Actually, there is quite a bit in terms of our new curriculum that we're using. So we have a couple new programs. From Really Great Reading, we do Launchpad, and that kind of sets them up for early literacy success. And that program continues through onto kindergarten. So we're kind of preparing them for that next step, kind of giving them those kind of routines, getting those in place early on. So we focus a lot on learning letters and sounds, phonemic awareness, different things like that having to do with literacy. And then our other program is called TED Tell, and it's an oral language program. Lots of times we're finding that students are coming in with lack of vocabulary or language skills or just the ability to be able to communicate with full sentences. And so this time really allows us to break that down, do vocabulary, and we do that in terms of different themes. Like our first theme was bodies, and so we learned different body parts, and we read different stories, and we do a lot of sequencing with stories. So that I'm seeing kind of some improvement in just our students' ability to communicate better with one another. So with those programs, there's a lot of digital components that come with that. And we kind of finesse our own little, we're going to have maybe a wiggle break in there to kind of break up some of that learning, or they have active parts within those programs that we can make the learning more multisensory.
What's the number one book on the Riverdale bestseller list these days?
Oh my goodness. Well, recently we did a theme on birds, and so we read the pigeon books. So if you've ever heard of the pigeon books, don't let the pigeon drive the bus. Don't let the pigeon go to school, or don't let the pigeon stay up late. And he's a pretty rowdy guy. So that kind of gets them going because he's just a little eccentric. So that's kind of a fun one.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Margaret Emerson is here as well. Margaret, tell us about your role with the Riverdale District.
Hi, so I am the kindergarten through second grade special education teacher at Riverdale.
And tell us about a typical day for you.
So in a typical day, I meet with kiddos for about 15 to 30 minutes, and I help them with math, reading, and social skills, either pulling them out into my classroom or pushing into their classroom and just being in there to support them.
What do you love about going to work?
The kids, of course.
Right.
I love going to work and seeing all the kids every day. I feel like Brittany said, it kind of keeps us young at heart. And I just feel like Riverdale has been such a breath of fresh air.
Tell us a little bit about your background.
Yeah, so I graduated from UW-Platteville in 2021 with a bachelor's degree in elementary education and a minor in early childhood.
And why Riverdale?
So I went to high school at River Valley, and even in high school I always heard wonderful things about Riverdale, so I figured, why not Riverdale? We've been hearing great things about them for years and years and years. I feel like Riverdale has a really great sense of community, which is really something I was seeking, and they have been so supportive and so welcoming, and it's really been great.
I posed the question over here to Ella, but is there an educator that inspired you or influenced you?
Yes, there is. So my kindergarten teacher at River Valley, I was one of those kids that did not want to leave my parents. I cried every single morning, and she always gave me the biggest hug. It's going to be okay. It's okay. And then by the end of the day, I was totally happy, happy to be there. I'd forgotten about my mom and dad, and she just made me feel so much like I was just at home when I was at school once I got there and feeling comfortable. So if I can provide that for a child, I feel like I've done my job.
Mm-hmm. And her name was?
Michelle Weiss.
Oh, okay.
Shout out to you.
Did you get to bring your stuffed animal and things like that too? Or
I sure did. I brought a kangaroo every single day when I was in kindergarten. Yeah.
Do students still do that?
Some students do. Yeah. I feel like whatever helps them get through the day, whatever they need, we are willing to help them out with that. So some students might bring a stuffy, some students might have a little sensory strip with them or a weighted blanket, whatever they might need.
Mm-hmm. Very good to get that groundwork, though, and get them off to a good school situation there. Make them love to go to school, right?
Yes, absolutely. You spend a lot of time at school during the day, so we want you to feel like you're at home, you're in a safe spot, and we are here to support you in any way you need.
Do you have some goals for the future for your program?
Yeah, I would love to stay working in this program. It's much different than being in the classroom, but I enjoy it a lot. It is at a much slower pace, and I feel like the bonds that I get to create with these kids working one-on-one or in small groups, it's just so much. I feel like it's a closer bond, right? Because you really get to know them and you can take the time to spend with them talking about things other than school. So, yeah.
Make that eye contact, right? That personal connection.
Exactly, yeah. And get to have more fun in small groups, yeah.
Great. Well, nice to meet you. Thanks for coming to the morning show today.
Thank you.
Here's to a good school year for all of the newbies. Jeff, you got a good staff over here.
Yeah, we do. I talk a lot about the people, and we got very fortunate. We've had our 6 new staff members. We had 3 last month, 3 this month, and as I said at the beginning, it takes a lot of weight off your shoulders throughout the year because they just are off and running, and there's not a lot of oversight that has to happen. Even though, behind the scenes we provide a ton of support, that's one of Kelly's roles too, is that she's handles our first year teachers. So she does the orientation with them, orientates them to, Riverdale, and I think then they have a connection to somebody to go to, not necessarily an administrator like, I don't know if I want to approach this, but they have another face to go to in the district if they ever have those questions throughout about anything, and she does a really nice job with that and getting them to be part of the community.
Kindergarten feast? Is there
yes,
something
we
coming
have I guess they call it gathering now. They've moved from this thing has been going on since, oh boy, I know my kindergarten teacher, Jan Nanke, would know for sure when it first started, but it's been going on, 30 plus years, and just a wonderful day that the kindergarten teachers put on. It's more of a gathering now where they serve desserts and that. Instead, it used to be full chicken Thanksgiving meal almost, but kind of cut back since COVID because of that. But it brings each of the families come in. They get to sit with their student, and then they put on a little program, and then there's a little meal with desserts and that they just have some time together. Just a wonderful program, and I think my favorite part is during the program, each kid gets to say who they're thankful for, and it's the answers that they get. I said are just phenomenal. Some of the things they come up with, but even if they practice all week about saying one thing, when it's showtime, sometimes they say something that they didn't even practice. So it gets a lot of giggles, a lot of fun. Just a great thing that will happen on Friday at the elementary school.
These women on this side of the room could probably write a book on some of the things that are said off the cuff.
Definitely. That younger range is not my range. So I take a lot of respect for the teachers in that lower elementary and what they go through every day with our students. So.
Kelly, is there something you want to say about Riverdale alumni?
Yeah, so we are going to have our second alumni day. We've talked a lot about having college and career readiness, and one of the things we wanted to provide for our students in the high school is an opportunity to hear from people who have graduated from Riverdale throughout the years to come back and tell about their journey and where they're at in their careers, how they got there, the post-secondary schooling that they had to get there, or the training. This year we have about 50 presenters coming on the 5th. And they range from Dean Meyer, who graduated in 1964, all the way through Tess Johnson from 2021. Your old favorite Michael Hernan will be back to do some introducing and then talking about what he's doing out in his career.
You're bringing out the big guns there, aren't you?
We are. So that'll be a lot of fun. The span is geographical too. We have people zooming in from Hawaii. We have somebody flying in from South Carolina, and we have people that are working every day right in Muscadet that are coming in. So should be a good day. We're looking forward to it. Got to give a shout out to Chelsea Clark, Tanner Williamson, Michelle Stanek, and Sarah Gruen, who are in the committee with me working on that. I think it'll be a great day for the staff and the students as well as the presenters.
And that day is?
December 5th.
December 5th, so it's coming up.
It is.
Very, very soon.
Yes.
Yeah. Jeff, anything you want to add for this month's program?
I think just American Education Week is this week. We've got a great committee of teachers that put together dress-up days for the staff throughout the week, so it's pretty neat to see those. And then Kelly has been putting on kind of with their direction that videos that she talked about. We've had snacks from the community that people have dropped off, which has been great. And we got signs around town, just kind of a celebration of what education is, and a great time to be thankful for what we have right around the Thanksgiving time. But good time to reflect on the impact of our educators within the community.
Great. Well, thanks for bringing in some friends again today. We
Yep,
appreciate
not a
that.
problem. Looking forward to next month.
You bet. Jeff Campbell joining us in the studio, along with Kelly Schaefer, Ella Fiersthaler, and Brittany Penfield, along with Margaret Emerson on this portion of the morning show.